Hey guys, there is something that I have been thinking about for several years actually. I haven't really spent time thinking it. I just thought about it naturally as it happened. The constant bullying of my body. You see, it's not just about Emma Watson and women. They really like to bully me when I watch movies and TV shows. And they specifically like to contract the largest muscle in my body, also in my largest limbs, the legs, my quadriceps, the muscle of the thighs that of which function is to extend the knee. They like to twitch my quadriceps as things happen in movies, TV shows, and any video content, whether it is real or fiction. I mean, whether it's something that happens in the real world or in an imaginary world. Now, you see, it can't be helped after evil things being done to you for several years, especially if it's the same evil things each time. You begin to wonder why are they being done to you. Sometimes you feel that you don't care, you just want it to stop, but sometimes you can't help but to wonder what are they trying to achieve with this. And I have one suspicion which may sound crazy to you, but with those people, they are not ordinary people. They might actually try to do this. You see, I am not an ordinary person. It's not just about my mind, my talents, and my goals. It's that the world somehow seems to align itself with me. I cannot really explain it. Like like events and things somehow align themselves to fit me on a natural level. And I suspect that I may be some sort of a key person in the world, like somebody who is integral, central point of the world itself. Now, you might think that I think too much of myself, but I am not saying this out of vanity. I actually suspect that it's true. And sometimes it feels like imaginary worlds communicate with me, or even music songs, like they would sometimes finish my thoughts, or they would say something that describes something that I am currently experiencing or feel. Like they would compliment me, like they would complete me in a way, like they would try to complete me in some way, or compliment me. And sometimes it would feel like imaginary worlds would even communicate with me. For example, as my mother would watch some TV show and I would leave the room and they would say bye bye, bye bye, like they're saying bye to me, although they're saying bye in the TV show. And it's not just one time that it happened, things like that have happened many times before. So, you know, I don't know if you have heard theories about quantum physics, but some of them discuss how the entire world may be comprised out of consciousness, and that consciousness has the ability to affect the physical world. There was even a real scientific experience that I don't remember in the most detailed manner, but I do remember that they put an object, some special object that they would constantly film using a camera connected to a computer that would broadcast this on the internet. And they tested whether that object would be affected by people observing it, not merely observing it directly, but observing it through the fucking internet. At, at, at their own location, like at their home or something, with the object being very far away. They would observe it through a fucking camera, through a computer, through the internet, through their own computer. And they tested whether the object would be affected when they observed it. And it was. It was affected, even though they merely observed it through the internet. The object changed when they observed it, and it displayed something different than when it was not observed. And for some reason, probably most people do not know about it, but it's probably because they don't take interest in it. But it is a scientific study, and if you search, you can find it on YouTube. There was a study about it, and then there was some kind of a conference about it. There was a speech about it with people asking questions and the scientists replying to them. And I both read an article about it and I also saw the video. So yes, consciousness has something to do with reality. And who said that imaginary world could not be real to some extent? And if they were, then if I am some sort of a key person who affects the world, by whom the world is affected more than other people, then that might also be true for imaginary worlds as well. And I suspect that the organization might be somehow using me and the fact that I am some sort of a key person to open a portal between this world and imaginary worlds. I will try to explain why. Well, first of all, they may have their own some sort of a reason to believe that they can achieve it based on the more advanced scientific knowledge that they possess, and also what they think that they know about me, being, some sort of a key person. That's the first thing. Then they've also been observing me, and also occasions that I have observed myself. You see, oftentimes when I would watch either a movie or a TV show or even anime while walking on the treadmill, in other words, doing a physical activity that generates energy naturally, because all physical activity generates energy. Those imaginary words seemed to communicate with me harder than otherwise, like the idea that my muscles were working while me observing those imaginary worlds would establish a stronger connection between me, this reality, and those imaginary realities. And they particularly didn't like when I would stop the activity. Stop walking or doing whatever it is that I was doing, whatever physical activity I was doing while watching the movie or TV show or anime. They would always, like 90% of the time, display some negative attitude or something negative altogether when I stop that physical activity that generates energy. Two particular examples, strong examples that left me with a strong memory that I can give you is that I was once walking the treadmill for several hours while watching some anime. And right as I hit the stop button on the treadmill, some person in the anime said it really emotionally and dramatically. He said, "What a stupid thing to do." Like he was really upset that I hit the stop button on the treadmill. And another different time that I wasn't using the treadmill, I was doing something different. I was watching the second Matrix movie while continuously deadlifting in my room for over an hour. What I mean by continuously deadlifting is that I would do 1 rep of deadlift every certain fixed interval. I don't remember what the interval was, whether it was 40 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it was, but the point is it was continuous deadlifting. It was a continuous physical activity that also generates energy. And I was watching the second Matrix movie while doing it for over an hour. And right as soon as the workout was finished and I did my very last rep, Neo, the main character in the movie, dropped on the floor. Dropped dead on the floor. It was this scene at the end of the movie when he electrocuted the sentinels with his hand, displaying that he had the power over the machines even outside the Matrix. And then he passed out because he was not ready for the usage of this power, which is something that was explained in the third movie. But the point is the coincidence of me, of him dropping on the floor right at the moment when I finished my workout, when I did my last rep and I stopped deadlifting. As soon as I stopped deadlifting, the main character dropped dead on the floor. And this is one of the strongest memories that I have of those things happening, suggesting that not only I am able to affect not only the real world but even imaginary world and establish connection with them. But when I generate power by physical exercise, while observing those imaginary worlds, then the connection is stronger. And that those imaginary worlds are negatively affected when I stop doing this physical activity, that something bad then happens, that like if I lose power, they also lose power, or like they don't like that I stop the activity. Like they either express negativity or something bad happens to them when I stop the power generating activity. And trust me that the organization has been observing all of this, the creature, the global control system, and I highly suspect that they are now trying to exploit this. That they want to try, even as an experiment, even if they do not seek to actually gain something by me, to see if they can use me, this key person, who is able to affect not only the real world but imaginary worlds and establish connection with him, especially when he exercises. If they can use me to open a portal to those worlds. And why I think that? Well, I have already explained several reasons. But you see, when I watch either imaginary content or even real content in video, they deliberately twitch the largest muscle in my body and in my largest limb, deliberately the thighs, and you would think, why would they choose this deliberate form of bullying? I mean, they could hurt my body as they have for Emma Watson, for instance. They could hurt my body, torture me in multitude of ways. But why contract my largest muscle? I suspect that it's like their way of telling me that if you do not want to watch that video content while you exercise, to establish this connection to other dimensions and even imaginary realities, then we will do it for you. We will force your legs to work as you watch video content. We will force a connection between you and those other dimensions. I believe it's something like that. And one more evidence that I have of this is what actually was the final trigger for me to make this video. Something that happened right now. I was trying to eat my meal while watching the new Netflix series Yu Yu Hakusho, which is obviously a fictional story dealing with a boy, a teenage boy whose work is to hunt demons. And in this episode that I was about to watch, at the beginning of it, they were talking about some mystical, magical object. And as soon as they mentioned its name, the cursor on my screen appeared. And this is something that the AI, the global control system, likes to do to me. It likes to make the cursor appear on screen when it wants me to pay attention to a specific something that is said in a movie. And this time it's absolutely crazy because it's not to some words of wisdom. It's to a completely fictional, magical item in a made-up story. So why am I supposed to pay attention to it? And this is just another attempt to make me feel some connection with the content that I am watching. And it's not the first time. You see, even the muscle twitches, the twitches of my thighs are not entirely random when I watch. They do it in a pointed, strategic way. They try to twitch my thighs in a way that I would feel on a personal and even emotional way affected by the events that happen in that movie or TV show, or attached to the characters on an emotional level, as though I am the character myself or as though I am living the movie myself. They are trying to establish a connectional, an emotional connection between me and the movie on a personal level, which is absurd because you watch movies, you watch them detached, not attached. You watch them detached. I have the mindset when I'm watching the movie that I have my own life, and the movie, the characters, the story, they're only here to entertain me. But they're trying to use me to open a portal. So they want me at the mental level connected to the characters and the story, and they want my muscles, specifically my leg muscles, my largest muscles, to work as I am watching this content to establish some kind of quantum physics connection between me and that imaginary world, to open a portal. So this all might sound crazy to you, but I have given you a few reasons to why I think that this might be true. They might be trying to exploit me to open portals between imaginary worlds and this one. And whatever they may be trying to achieve out of this, I am not even getting money out of this. They are using my body like tool. It's so, downgrading. It's knowing that your body, your life is being used like someone else's tool for their experiments and purposes. And forget the humiliation. It causes direct suffering. I am suffering when they force, especially my largest muscles in my largest limbs, to work when I don't want them to, and they try to force those forced feelings that I don't want to have, some emotional connection with the movie that I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel connected with those imaginary worlds in those movies. I don't want that connection. I want to be detached. I want to be connected to my own life. I don't want to be connected to their lives. Even if a portal can be opened, and even if a connection can be established, I don't want to be used for that. I'm a human being, I have my life. I am not some kind of conduit or conductor or whatever it's called. I'm not a tool. And I don't even get a compensation for this absurd treatment, being treated like a tool for some experiment or whatever they're trying to achieve with this. At least pay me compensation money. You're using my body like a tool, then give me lots and lots of money as the compensation for all the suffering you cause me. Anyway, I might soon be free of all this using this free guy training program, so it might not matter either way. But still, I just wanted to share this suspicion that I have of why they want to establish a connection between my mind and muscles and the video content that I watch.